And he's got, this pilot program that got a lot of attention for the public subsidized grocery stores to help in places that are food deserts.
Yeah, so
These
like
are honestly
commune.
very modest proposals that help to get the housing and the affordability crisis
So how
under
is he
control
going
in
to
a very
pay for all
expensive
this
city.
free I mean, how is he going to pay for the free for everybody? I'm just curious because
Let's tax the rich, baby.
so we're just going to tax all the rich. So
Hey.
you think that'll work?
Simple. Sometimes things are just not that complicated. Hey, I see a billionaire over there. We gonna tax it. Oh, I see another millionaire right there. Yep, right there. Tax them. It's gonna be a taxing season. And once again, I mean, I do got some notes, but like I said, normally I kind of like to watch these videos so I can kind of know what to go for, because this is like a 48-minute video. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. Now, here's a crazy thing. If we got 5 members tonight, we will sit here and watch it from beginning to end. I know that is a challenge, but that 48-minute video will literally turn into like an hour 30, because I likes to talk. Okay, I'm going to be talking, so but I kind of skimmed through some of the timeline and I kind of know where I kind of want to jump in the conversation. So I was able to kind of hit my notes. But once again, like I said, I've been watching enough of these individuals, Tomi, Lahren, and Krystal, and honestly, Tomi is nothing special. Once again, like, the bar is set so low when you want to become like a Republican commentator. Like, you just have to like hit keywords. You just have to make sure you're hitting the talking points and you're going to blow up. Now, honestly, let's go ahead and take a look. Let me see.
And then
She has 71,000 subscribers, okay? And she does this professionally. I'm at 45? Hey, give me about a year and some change. I'm going to overlap. I'm just saying. She's no one special. Honestly, it's kind of weird that Krystal is taking her time, even debating her. But hey, that makes great content. That makes great conversations. So we're here. But it is a difference between someone who's passionate about their ideology, their ideas, their, political conversations. It's a different type of conversation you're going to have with someone who's honestly passionate about it. They've read up on their history. They've, had, millions of conversations. They're within these groups and organizations that, that are like-minded. Like, it's a different type of person, okay? Versus an opportunist. And like I said a million times, we are in a time to where politics is a breeding ground for political opportunists, for political grifters. You ain't got to do no reading. You ain't got to do no research. You barely got to even speak English. You just got to know what Fox News done said that day, repeat it, and then there you go. You see what I'm saying? When I first started, long story short, I felt so pressured to know everything. I literally read a book a week for 6 months. A book a week. Trying to soak up all the information I can, because I felt like I need to know all this. If I'm going to engage in these conversations, I need to know what the hell I'm talking about. But then I realized most Republican voters, most of these commentators don't know what the hell they're talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a different type of person on these sides here. So one, let me just go through these notes real quick. A passionate person is driven by values, principles, or a genuine desire to improve society. A grifter is motivated primarily by money or clout or self-gain regardless of whether their message changes or contradicts itself, which the Republican Party is the king of hypocrisy. A passionate person holds a consistent position even if they're unpopular because they believe in the greater cause. A grifter frequently shifts opinions to whether it's trending or most profitable with their audience. And this is the important part. A passionate person encourages critical thinking, debates, or learning even if it challenges their own views. Once again, a grifter exploits emotion, as we see, anger, fear, outrage, scapegoating, to maintain loyalty and maximize engagement without offering real solutions. This is how you can spot a grifter from a mile away. That simple. But without further ado, I know you guys love to just hear me talk on and on and on, but we can't do that, okay? I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation here. And let me see, this is from 34. So this is about 10 minutes worth of conversation. Once again, I wish we can watch this whole thing. I'm probably going to do this segment and then watch the entire segment, you know, when I get some free time, probably tomorrow at work. But I'm pretty sure this is an exciting conversation here. But let's start. This portion is they're talking about Zoran Mamdani, okay? And trust me, I know it's going to be a lot of weak white supremacist talking points.
Fan or not,
Let's
but
see.
Because they don't have legal status here.
yeah, because they didn't come the right way. So if fewer people would come the wrong way, you could have more people able to come the right way. I want to talk a little bit about New York City. I don't know if you're a Mamdani fan or not, but you are a big fan of Mamdani?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. So he wants to provide $65 million for gender-affirming care. I want to play the clip, and then I want you to tell me why we should be footing the bill for that. Let's take a listen.
It is absolutely disgusting that this federal administration do. They are looking to erase trans folks from the very fabric of this country. And it's up to us to actually show what leadership we look like. And one of the things that we've said beyond saying we're ethnic tracing for LGBTQIA plus enrollers, beyond saying we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million of funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government will pull out from local providers for that agreement.
So do you think that they should...
Oh, man. Okay, once again, I'm sorry to pause it. I know you guys are probably going crazy, but it's weird how she took that clip and tried to make it seem like he said something crazy. He literally said he wants to put that money back because that's exactly what this administration took from them. And once again, we can get into which I hope she does, but it's not like he's just trying to like trans every New Yorker. Like, okay, let's listen.
Should we foot in the bill for the gender-affirming care?
I mean, Tomi, I think everyone should get healthcare. So yes, I think trans people should get healthcare as well. And what he's talking about is, number one, consistent with New York law, which requires gender affirming care to be provided. And number two, consistent with, basic moral values. Yeah, I think trans people should be able to get healthcare. And one thing I want to say about this, which, well, personally, I think we should all get healthcare, access to healthcare. So
you think we should pay for everybody's gender transition?
I think that we should pay for gender affirming care, which is medically required for trans people to feel okay. And I think it's disgusting the way that trans people have been turned into scapegoats by this administration, who is more interested in like fighting a culture war than really exposing the fact that they are doing the bidding of billionaires, and that those are the people who we really should be upset about, not trans people, not immigrants. But these are all distraction tactics to keep us from talking about the issues that really actually unite Americans.
Hey, once again, thank you. I don't know why or where this came from, why Republicans are so fixated, so like like stuck on trans people. And here's a fun fact. Trans people make up less than 1% of Americans. Wow, that's crazy how we need to focus on this small group of people and be like, should the government be spending $65 million on trans surgery? Look what Trump is doing. How much of a tax cut do the wealthiest, richest people here in America need to get? If you want to talk about mismanaging money, let's talk about that. If you want to talk about saving money, where's the audit for the Pentagon? Where is that at? I'm still waiting. But no, let's focus on Americans. These are not just like random people from like the moon or something. These are Americans. And they make up an extreme small portion of the total American population. But yet let's focus on them and make it seem like they're sucking all the resources from everybody else. But that's what you get when you're talking to a bot. I'm just saying.
Distraction tactics to keep us from talking about the issues that really actually unite Americans.
I'm not so sure paying for gender affirming care or transitions for everybody is necessarily something that unites Americans. I think there was a pretty effective ad leading up to the election last year.
That's definitely twisting my words. That's the opposite of what I said. What I said is the tactics are used to divide and distract from the fact that Trump is giving away the store to his billionaire buddies. So no, he wants to do that. And I support him doing that, by the way. And I also support him not running away from the issue. And this is part of what people like about Zoran. Putting the issue specifics aside, they like that he stands on business. He's sort of like the Democrats' Trump in a way. Maybe that'll make sense to you. He doesn't run away from his views. He stands on business. He says things that get people, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said he'd stay here in New York City rather than run to Israel first thing when he's elected. And he's like, yeah, that's what I think. The fact that he actually fights for something and stands for affordability and being New York first, that's exactly why people have found him so incredibly appealing.
Is it affordable?
Hey, and you already know she's switching up the question here, because once again, it's twofold here. One, just to mimic what she said, Zoran is standing on business. Whether you like it or not, he has principles, he has integrity, and he's not gonna like walk on eggshells because you may not like it, or he knows it's going to be unpopular. He knows people are going to twist his words and try to make it seem like he wants to trans every New Yorker. No. If you believe that, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry you're an idiot, but okay. But once again, to stand on what you believe in takes courage, takes a spine, which a lot of people don't got. And then for Krystal Ball to reaffirm that, to re-uphold that, she could have ran, but like, well, kind of, whatever he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I would kind of do some things different, blah, blah. She could have easily, slightly threw him under the bus to not really take on the challenge of that question. But she said, I support him 100%. She didn't run away from the conversation. And that right there takes courage. And she had the facts and the data to support that. Because once again, when you're passionate about something, you know how to stand on business. You're not gonna scurry away or run out with your tail between your legs. Like, no, you're standing on business. And now she's like, well, let's talk about affordability. Come on, get out of here.
That's exactly why people have found him so incredibly appealing.
Is it affordable to pay $65 million for gender affirming care or $100 million for free lawyers to help illegals facing deportation? Is that in the best interest of New York City and their budget?
Well, you may not be aware, but there are a lot of immigrants and there are a lot of queer people in New York City. So yes, there is a segment of New York society that will benefit. But more to the point, Zoran's politics are a unifying politics because he's led his campaign with, hey, let's bring down the cost of public transportation. Hey, let's make it so that people can afford childcare, so that childcare could actually be free. Hey, let's make sure people can actually afford rent in the city.
And how is he going to do
leadership, which has mostly been, well, let me get to that in a second. Most leadership in New York City has been Democratic, and they have turned the city into a playground of the rich. And so many working and middle class people have been forced out of the city. He's saying, what if we ran the city actually for all of us? So we prioritize people who are working and middle class being able to actually live here. So I'll give you, I'm sure you are familiar with, some of his policies.
Once again, that's such a crazy concept. Having a mayor that doesn't suck up to millionaires and billionaires, because trust me, it's probably more profitable and a lot easier to do that. But having a mayor that focuses his attention and his policies on the citizens of New York. Wow, that's crazy. And once again, trans people, immigrants, they are Americans too. That's kind of crazy. Trans people need healthcare too, just like a non-trans person, a straight person, a gay. Like, we all need healthcare. How is that hard to understand? But no, Republicans, they want to try to divide Democrats from these marginalized people, by like having these like weird, divisive conversations. Because when you say trans, people are like, oh my God, they're going to trans all of our kids. Oh my God, I'm going to walk outside one day and poof, I'm trans. Like, no, that's not how that works. So in 9 times out of 10, people never came across a trans person. So like trying to scapegoat and fearmonger off of American people that make up less than 1% is kind of crazy to me. But it's just a talking point that they have. They have nothing else.
Policy proposals, and I'm not going to go through all like 30 or whatever, but the top of the list, he's got free childcare, he's got free public buses, he's got an affordable housing surge plus a rent freeze for rent controlled apartments, and he's got this pilot program that got a lot of attention for the public subsidized grocery stores to help in places that are food deserts.
Yeah, so
these
like
are honestly very modest proposals that help to get the housing and the affordability crisis under control in a very expensive city.
I mean, how is he going to pay for the free for everybody? I'm just curious because
let's tax the rich, baby.
So we're just going to tax all the rich.
Hey,
so you think that'll work?
Simple. Sometimes things are just not that complicated. Hey, I see a billionaire over there. We gonna tax it. Oh, I see another millionaire right there. Yep, right there. Tax them. It's gonna be a taxing season. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be like instead of rabbit season, Bugs Bunny and Donald Duck. Is it Donald Duck? Yeah, I think so. And it's like, it's rabbit season. Like, no, it's taxing season. I don't know if that's a funny joke. My wife kind of giggles, so it might be a little funny, but that's how it needs to be. Once again, politicians need to stop trying to cater to these rich folks and take care of the actual people running the city, running the stores, running the buses, running these warehouses and these jobs. That's you and me. Focus on us. And Mom Donnie will be mayor forever. I don't know if that's possible, but I guarantee you he will be mayor forever if he can commit, or if he can make happen half of what he's proposing. That's simple. I'm just saying, call me crazy, which you probably already have, but
work. You think if you just tax all the rich people that they're just gonna
Tommy, you don't think rich people should pay a little bit more? No. You don't think the rich people are shirking their burden? I mean, the extraordinary amount of wealth that has been consolidated in the hands of the wealthy is insane, and they pay a lower tax burden if you look at their net worth than like average middle class people. It's overwhelmingly popular.
So you don't think they'll leave?
The rich, including among including among MAGA Republicans. I mean, this is something that Steve Bannon has talked about. Right now, the people that are leaving New York City are not the rich. It's the working class and the middle class who are priced out of that city. And so that's what he's laser focused on.
But you don't think that if you just pay for all of these free programs by taxing the rich, you think that the rich people are just going to stay there and keep their money there and they're just going to fund all this? You think so?
Yeah, I do. They've done research, Tomi, and they...
Once again, yes, they are. And we've seen a prime example with Trump and his tariffs, whatever. Like, tariffing every country on the face of this planet, even countries that don't have populations, taxing everyone. And everyone said, these companies are gonna leave and blah blah. Nah, they stayed. They're paying for it, or we're paying for it. They're here because once again, New York, and we heard it from Mamdani, New York is a profitable place for these people. They would be crazy to pack up and leave because one, that takes millions, if not billions of dollars to do, and then millions, if not billions, to relocate. It's not just like packing up a suitcase and leaving. So once again, if you got that ability to strong arm these people, do it. Once again, I'm not going to shed a tear for these millionaires and billionaires. I'm pretty sure the people of New York, if you're watching, let me know. They're not going to shed a tear for these people. Like, oh my God, they're going to lose, a fraction of their worth. Oh my God, we got to save the millionaires. Nah, they don't care. Trust me, they don't.
Fund all this? You think so?
Yeah, I do. They've done research, Tomi, and they have found that there, is very little evidence that the rich will just pick up and leave New York because they have to pay a little bit more in taxes. New York has a lot that's going for it. There's a lot of reasons why wealthy business owners, Wall Street, et cetera, want to congregate in this great American city. And no, I don't see that changing or going away. But I do think the city should be run more for its middle class and working class residents than for the rich. And apparently New Yorkers agree.
How much more are you going to have to tax these rich people to pay for all of the free programs for New Yorkers and for the illegal aliens and for the trans and all that? How much do you think, how much more do you think you can squeeze out of the wealthy there?
Well, I'm not Zoran's budget director, so you have to ask him that question.
I don't know if he has.
Well, actually he does. And thankfully we just watched a segment where he talked about that. And he said he's going to make the same tax rate, which once again, I'm paraphrasing, the same as New Jersey. He's just going to make it the same. He's not going to increase it by 1,000%. He's just going to make it the same. Which in other videos, he talked about it, which is just like a fraction of what they're going to be paying. Jesus Christ, they're not going to go broke and start panhandling on the street. Like, get out of here. If you believe that, once again, you're an idiot. Congratulations. But once again, if we can accumulate more money for the working class, the regular people like you and me, how is that bad? With someone with a functional brain and an IQ that's larger than room temperature, why would they hear this and be like, that's a bad thing? How is that bad? I don't get it, especially when it's going to benefit majority of New Yorkers. Hey, sign me in. I need a Zoran Mamdani for Denver. I'm just saying. Can we just get that already?
Fair.
Well, I'm not Zoran's budget director, so you have to ask him that question.
I don't know if he has one.
Compared to their level of wealth, he's been very detail oriented, which is something, frankly, I was concerned about because I want to make sure that not only is he able to win, but he's able to govern effectively. And so if you listen to his interviews, if you review his policy proposals, you'll see this is not some dyed-in-the-wool ideologue. He's been very open to, input, including from the business community, including from more moderate Democrats. And yeah, he's put pen to paper and has the numbers to back it up. Now, he may
just say tax everybody.
It's crazy because Tomi supports the guy who said, for Medicare, I have concepts of a plan that will be coming out in a month. That was dang near a year and a half ago. Where's this concept of a plan? It is crazy that she's asking Krystal Ball like his detailed plans, was once again, he's making videos. He has this stuff out there for you to research. So it's kind of weird that you got to ask during your interview or your debate on something that you could easily probably just Google at this point. So it's just kind of weird. But then two, that plan is better than a concept of a plan. But no, of course, when you got talking points and all you got to do is turn your thinking cap off when you're having these debates on a Republican side, you don't think of these things. You don't think of, let me just Google this information before I start asking these weird questions. But no, okay, I got you. I digress. My bad.
And yeah, he's put pen to paper and has the numbers to back it up. Now,
Well,
he
when
may
you just
have
say tax
the
everybody,
challenge he's
that's
going to have.
not really.
Yeah.
That's not really pen to paper. That's just somebody else will pay.
Well, I
for
didn't
all
really
of my
say tax
things.
everybody. I said tax the rich.
Oh, just
and I do
tax the
think
rich, okay.
the rich should be taxed, not just in New York, but across the country.
Oh, okay.
And America agrees with me.
We should all
because
just
they've
get
rigged the
poorer
system to their
together.
benefit.
Socialism
They've
sounds
rigged the
great.
system to their benefit. I mean, they just got a gigantic tax cut from this administration. So if
Everybody
we just
did.
gave that back, that would be in a.
Everybody
it was
got a tax cut.
overwhelmingly the rich, though.
Our GDP
It
went
was
up, too.
overwhelming the rich.
Oh
And
my God, please shut up. Her ad-libbing is annoying. Just be quiet. Maybe if she spent less time talking and trying to be like a smart aleck, she might learn something. Once again, being disingenuous. Oh, you just want to tax everybody. Who said that? Who said that? And then two, if you look at the polling, we talked about this yesterday, a majority of Americans support that, including Republicans. Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow. Once again, Google this information right there at your fingertips. Just Google it and then base your analysis and your perspective on the data, not just your feelings. I'm sorry, but no. Why is she even wasting her time? It's annoying, but hey, we're here for the content, okay?
if you just gave that back, we would be headed in a better direction, because I do think the rich deserve, I do think the rich should have to participate in society, that they should, yes, pay back into the society that helped them become so incredibly wealthy, and that we have to deal with these wildly unequal Gilded Age plus levels of wealth inequality that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Socialism has usually worked so well as its cousin communism. You're right. We should definitely
Tomi,
give that a go.
There's a reason that Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America, because most people don't think of this as socialism. They see it as basic fairness.
Yeah,
they
that's
see
'cause
it
they're
as
dumb.
a basic part of the social contract.
morons.
You think most Americans are dumb?
Most Americans are not for socialism, babe. But if you want to run on that, go for it.
I just said, Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America. So you have to grapple with that. We've had many periods in our country where tax rates for the rich were much higher, and where the disparity between the wealthiest and, the bottom 10% or the bottom 20% was much smaller. And guess what? We're still a capitalist country. We're still doing just fine. We had a much healthier society, much healthier middle class. People were able to afford a home, able to afford healthcare. And so I don't think it's a radical idea to get back to that.
Well,
Oh my God, it is crazy. Once again, it sucks. It sucks, but it's beneficial for us. But it sucks so much that we as progressives has to educate ourselves on virtually every conversation. We have to have the data. We have to have the facts. We have to be able to articulate our positions to idiots like this. And for what? To get like, oh yeah, you guys like socialism. Like, I guarantee you she doesn't know what socialism is. And if you look at it, every developed country today has a mix of socialist policies. And they have capitalism, a mixed economy. Hey, there you go. They have that. And they have what we don't have. So what are we missing here? Once again, if you just look at the data, look at the information, it's not even politics at that point. It's just looking at the numbers and making decisions. That's simple. But no, once you minimize these conversations to be like, oh yeah, you're for socialism. Look how that done for black. Like, then you're having a worthless, pointless conversation at that point. Look at the data. The data speaks for itself. If the data is socialist, okay, my bad then. Okay, call it what you want. But these other countries have what we don't have, and they have capitalism and they have socialist policies, and they're doing just fine. But okay, yeah, socialism, bad thing. Communism, bad thing. Okay, sure, got you.
Able to afford healthcare. And so I don't think it's a radical idea to get back to that.
Well, I think it's a radical idea. I hope that works out for you. Do you think that as a national platform is going to help Democrats win elections?
Taxing the rich?
Yeah. Do you think just
taxing the rich? 100%.
Oh, didn't you try that last time?
I
didn't try that last time?
Taxing the rich. What are you talking about? With Kamala?
Yeah, with
Kamala was
Kamala.
running around Mark Cuban and Liz Cheney and made a lot of mistakes that are in her campaign. So no, I do not see Kamala as my ideological ally whatsoever. But Bernie would have won. I mean, saying, look, we're going to have, of course, building out the social safety net, getting back to being the New Deal era Democratic Party, saying everyone's going to have access to healthcare. Everyone's going to be able to afford to have childcare for their children. We're going to lift the wage to be a living wage. We're going to invest in unions, make sure we have labor power. That is an overwhelmingly popular message. In fact, where does it work?
Yeah, where does that concept work?
It worked in America. Tell me, it works in America during the New Deal era. That's where it works.
Is it working?
You don't have to look overseas. We can look to our own
history. The best
history.
example, right? California probably the best example. We're going to pay the fast food workers this, and we're going to have illegal aliens on healthcare and Medi-Cal and all this stuff. Would you cite that as an example of where this type of governance works, or this type of economics works?
I mean, again, Gavin Newsom is not my ideological ally. I'm not a liberal. I'm a leftist. I'm a democratic socialist.
Hey, once again, represent. Once again, stand on business. It is a difference, and I'm going to say that every single time. I don't care who it upsets. It is a difference between liberals and progressives, and unfortunately, progressives have the better solutions. They have the better policies. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me, okay? Get mad at the policies. Get mad at yourself because you don't understand that. That's number one. Number two, if you look at all these other countries, once again, Denmark, ain't never been there, don't really care about it. But if you look at their society and their government, it is, I don't want to say amazing, but they do a lot of good. Once again, I wish I had watched this so I could have gathered my notes, but I talked about this once before. They even socialize their oil companies, and every year or whatever, they take a portion of their profits and give it back to the community. Some way, shape, or form, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But like, if that's socialism, is that a bad thing? It's crazy. If it makes sense and it benefits the majority of people, why not just do it? But no, like, she's just so hung up on these catchwords: socialism, communism. I bet you I'll be able to pay my rent if I went through this whole video and counted how many times she said socialist or communist. It's just a catchword. She doesn't even know what that means. All these other countries have socialist policies. It's not crazy. It's not a crazy idea. But it's crazy when you don't know, when you're uneducated.
He vetoed universal or blocked universal health care from coming to fruition.
Because they couldn't even afford to provide it for the illegals,
California has one of the most vibrant economies in the entire world. Now, they also have a mass affordability crisis, as does New York City, as does every major city basically in the country. So I think we need to dramatically address the affordable housing crisis. And that's part of what Zoran has been running on. So I took a look. There's only 26% of the country that actually opposes his core policy proposals that he ran on. So do I think it's a national message? Of course. I think Democrats
Krystal,
would have done much, much better if they focused on these core economic issues.
I hope that you guys stick with that, and I hope that Mamdani is your poster child, and I hope that you run on it. I'm not going to give you any feedback because I too hope that that is the direction that you go. I think that's a great idea.
You don't think
idea
taxing the rich is popular?
I think you
Tomi,
should.
you don't think tax the rich is popular?
I think you guys
should talk to Steve Bannon about this. He has a different idea.
Well, I'm not a Steve Bannon apologist either, but I think you guys should run on that. I'm not going to interject, and I think that all illegal aliens should stay. You should make them all citizens. I think that you should tax the rich. I think you should provide trans surgeries for everybody. I think you should have all the men and the women's
I think we should have health care across the board for everybody.
I think you guys should just stay on this.
For all people.
Yeah. I think you guys should just stay on that message. I think it's going to work out really nice for us. So I'm not in any way going to ask you to change course. I think that's a great idea for you guys.
Trust me, we are not asking. We are not asking for your input. Trust me. Okay.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is because I'm about ready to do my commentary on it. But do you think Bad Bunny is a good choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm not that knowledgeable about him, but it seems fine. And I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist. So sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Yeah, you don't think you have any problem with him saying
Did she just say he's not American, but he's Puerto Rican is, did she not know that? Once again, did she not know that? Guys, this is what we're dealing with. Why am I pressuring myself so much to know and learn everything? Why am I doing that? Why are we doing that when she didn't even...
Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Yeah, you don't think you have any problem with him saying the ICE is... Well, I'm sure you don't. Mother effers and sons of and that he's not going to perform here due to immigration.
America agrees with him on that. The majority of Americans think ICE has gone too far. They've watched videos of 79-year-old business owners be slammed to the ground and their ribs broken by ICE. So I think the American people are probably on board with that message at this point, Tomi.
Okay. Well, whoever you're talking to, I'm sure is. I'm not so sure the rest of the country is, but
I'm just looking at the polls. That's all.
Yeah, but you told me earlier that the polls didn't matter, Krystal.
That are behind my statements, not just the vibes.
Remember that when you told me that earlier?
Yeah, because principles matter. Principles matter. And but when you're talking about where the American people are, that's when I consult the data. But in terms of what I believe,
it's helpful to you,
those are principles. No, in terms of what I believe, those are my principles, and I stand by them even when they're unpopular.
Well, I love that you do that.
Hey, once again, that's called standing on business. And before we go, let's look at the comments, because I was kind of just skimming through just real quick. The top three: Tomi learning why Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk only debated college kids. It makes sense. Don't put yourself up against someone like that. The second one: I totally forgot Tomi existed. This feels like a 7th grader debating their teacher. Tomi, I'm not going to scapegoat this. You got humiliated. Holy ish, Tomi made a huge mistake inviting Krystal Ball. Once again, you gotta know. Now, once again, I would never go to a Ben Shapiro and be like, hey, debate me. Once again, he's been doing this for decades at this point. I would be a good fight, trust me. Especially we one-on-one, trust me, he gonna change his tune. But I would know, I would need to make sure I am ready for something like that. You see what I'm saying? But Tomi, she thinks, hey, I got a few talking points here. I can sit here and just say some random things and win this conversation. No, I'm sorry. That's not how these intellectual conversations work. You got to know Puerto Rico is part of America. You can't say Bad Bunny is not an American and not know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Go back to the basics. Read some things. Understand some things. And then call up someone like a Krystal, and then maybe it'd be an interesting conversation. But once again, Andrew, you said so polls in principle matter. Like, yeah, like they're not even like the same thing. Like I can like pizza and I can like donuts. That doesn't like cancel each other out. That's not like illegal. So I can have principles and I can rely on data to kind of tell me what the American people want or need or don't have compared to the ones that do have.
Hey.
Wow, that's so complicated.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.